Good morning to my professor and my dear fellow friends. Today we would like to present about our audit presentation, which is from the topic group audit that presented by me, Durga Anamparampan Ambalavan, and my other friend, Tiruchandru Analaraki Vijayan. First of all, what we can see from group audit was definition and objectives of group audits. For the definition of group audit was, the group auditor is responsible for providing the audit opinion on the group financial statements. Components of the group financial statements can include subsidiaries, associates, joint ventures, and branches. The components may be audited by the group auditor, but may instead be audited by a different firm of auditors known as the component auditors, also known as the other auditor. The term component auditor is introduced by the revised and redrafted ISA 600. The objective of the group auditor is twofold. First, the group auditor should establish that it is appropriate to act as group auditor. Second, the group auditor should be gather sufficient and appropriate evidence in order to reach an opinion on the consolidated financial statements. For the upcoming is scoping and materiality. Scoping is probably the single most critical element of a group audit. If group auditors get this wrong, there will be little they can do to salvage the audit because they will be either be doing too much and ineffectively. Scoping out components that should be scoped in and performing too little work on components because they are not assessed as significant is by far the greater and more serious risk. But scoping requires more than a little judgments, and it is just as possible to err too far in the other direction. Inefficient and unprofitable audits matters because they are unsustainable. Regulators have also criticized auditors for being insufficiently involved in the work of component auditors, and that involvement sometimes lacks focus. Audit staff are sent to components or their auditors without a clear understanding for the purpose of the visit. They perform irrelevant procedures or fail to perform appropriate procedures, and they leave without a clear view as to what the visit has contributed to the group audit opinion. However, with proper planning and good communications, a group audit can be effectively and efficiently undertaken. At the planning stage, proper consideration of the following is needed. First of all is evaluating component auditor competence and independence and the standards they apply, and determining the coverage of components and the work to be performed. Following is materiality, and followed by group auditor involvement in the work of component auditors and the appropriate level of work effort evaluating component auditors and their work. For upcoming is we can see is evaluating component auditor competence and independence and standards applied. For this, we can refer ISA 600. It is requires group auditors, if they intend to use the work of component auditors, to obtain an understanding of whether component auditors will comply with ethical requirements, which may not be the same locally as they are for group purposes. Component auditor competence, whether group auditors will be able to be involved in the work of component auditors as necessary, whether component auditors operate in a regulatory environment that actively oversees auditors, which may be very difficult to assess long distance. For other group auditors, we can see roles of principal auditor. Part of the group auditor's role is to understand component auditors' competencies and to be confident that component auditors can properly fulfill their group audit responsibilities. If group auditors fail to understand this, it is difficult to show that they have sufficient involvement in or control over the group audit. This understanding needs to be documented. The level of documentation requires depends on the complexity of the process for obtaining the understanding. Group auditors need to be satisfied that component auditors, which is understand the auditing, quality control and other standards under which they should operate of group audit purposes and are able, willing to comply with those standards, followed by have the specialized skills such as industry specific knowledge necessary to perform the work required, have an understanding of the applicable financial reporting framework that is sufficient to fulfill their engagement responsibilities. Next is the rights of principal auditor. To have access to the accounting and other records of any subsidiary. The principal auditor has a right of access the books of account, which is example like vouchers and relevant documents of any subsidiary company. Second is obtain information and explanation from officers or auditor of any subsidiary regarding affairs of subsidiary for the purpose of group financial statement reporting. The principal should examine subsidiary company or financial statement with financial statement whether got any material misstatement or not. Next is obtain information and explanation from the auditor of a related company for the purpose of audit. Next slide is on principal auditor reports on specific procedures. As a principal auditor, the biggest challenge is to make sure that subsidiary company report on specific procedures. That is, provide sufficient clarity on the work performed and therefore as to work not performed, does not express assurance in the form of conclusion on the work. Some component auditors simply provide group auditors with copies of their working papers, but they should still make it clear that they are not providing any assurance. As with audit reports, it is important that group auditors review reports from subsidiary company auditors. Where exemptions are identified, they have been followed up and resolved by the component auditors. If not, it is necessary to ask component auditors to perform further work, or can work be performed by group auditors. Next is specific issues audited by the principal auditor. So what we can see from here, refer to the ISA 600 does not cover everything that creates problems for auditors. This section covers areas in which ISA 600 provides less guidance and which, if not dealt with carefully, can cause difficulties. These areas are non-conformations year-ends. In general, groups try and align their components year-ends to make the consolidation process simpler. This is not always possible where there are legal or regulatory restrictions, or where joint ventures have different year-ends because it is not possible for the joint venture to align with all of them. Group audit instructions covering the identification of events that may require adjustments or disclosures in the group financial statements are particularly important. Where the parent company is listed or has an earlier filing deadline than the component, group auditors may be required to sign their opinion on the group financial statements before the component audits have been completed, which involves risks to group auditors. These risks can be minimized if group auditors seek the completion of work on significant components at the same time as the group audit through, even that can be difficult in practice. Aligning inconsistent accounting policies, audit reports on consolidation packages generally refer to group of accounting manuals. Group auditors need to evaluate the adequacy of such manuals. It may be possible for group audit management to ask component management to complete a reporting package in accordance with the group accounting manual, which provide detailed guidance on the policies to be adopted. This avoids the problem of local management not being skilled in the GAAP used to be prepare the group financial statements. However, this may not always be possible. For associates and joint ventures where group management may have less influence over component management and have not negotiated the right to receive reporting package. Next is where accounting standards require different accounting at group and component levels for interrelated items such as hedges and financial instruments, which is letterbox companies. Letterbox companies are companies or groups of companies where the general and the financial management and the company's operation are located in a different to that of the company's legal registration. Audits of letterbox companies are increasingly noted by the audit regulators as situations in which much or all of the audit fieldwork is carried out by one auditor, and the audit report is signed by another, often in jurisdictions that only permit locally registered auditors to sign audit reports. Subsidiary audit exemption and the audit of balances. Group auditors need to consider their audit approach carefully, particularly where local audit requirements have changed recently. If a local statutory audit is performed, it is often easiest to ask the local auditor to carry out a component audit to a component methodology regardless of the significance of the component of audit. The upcoming slides, my group mates will be continue with it. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Thiruchandru. Okay, today I'm going to present about an efficient and effective group audit requires channel of two-way communication between, which is communication between group auditors and component management is sometimes possible, where audit committees want group auditors to be able to talk knowledgeable about the quality of component management. Many group audit communication are in writing, often by email, but there is benefit in conference calls and face-to-face meeting to follow up instruction and clarify misunderstandings. One of the objectives of ISA 600 is for group auditors to communicate clearly with component auditors about audit scope, timing and findings. Effective two-way communication is needed. The starting point for which is the clear and timely communication of the group auditor's requirement. Example, the group audit instructions. Where group and component auditors are part of the same firm or network, group auditors often have a good understanding of component auditor procedures, but group auditors are still required to document their understanding of component auditors, and component auditors still need to knowledge their compliance with group auditors requests. In a group, it is likely that some companies will be audited by different firm of auditors. The group auditors has two issues to resolve. First, the group auditor cannot simply rely on another auditor's opinion on the financial statement of the company. In other words, if the other auditors has concluded the financial statements of the component are free from material misstatement, the group auditor should not just rely on this opinion and assume that the figures taken from the company's financial statement into the consolidated financial statement are correct. A material misstatement in the financial statements of a company could become a material misstatement in the financial statement of the group. Okay, to conduct an efficient audit, group audit instructions need to be crystal clear in the following areas. There are two distinct parts to what are widely known as group audit instructions. The first, ask question about the component auditor willingness to cooperate with group auditors and to make statement about compliance with independence, competence, and other ethical requirements. This part also provides component auditor with some preliminary information that about the group audit and sets of the work to be performed for those purposes, the use to be made of that work, and the form and content of the component auditors report back to the group auditors. For all companies within the group, regardless of materiality, the other auditors should review a report of work done by the component auditor. This report of work done could be in the form of executive summary or memorandum of audit issues rising from the audit of the company. Alternatively, the group auditor may issue a questionnaire to be completed by the component auditor, which will highlight key issues arising from the audit of the component. Such actions could include a review of component auditors' overall audit strategy, performing a risk assessment at the company level, participating in closing meetings with the component auditor and the management of the company, a review of relevant parts of the component auditor's audit working papers, discussing with the component auditor and or the management of the company the business activities that are significant to the group, discussing with the component auditor the susceptibility of the company's financial statement to material error or deliberate misstatements, reviewing the component auditor's documentation of identify significant risk and the conclusion reached on this risk. The consolidation process. The group auditor must plan the audit procedures to be performed on the consolidation process. For some groups, the consolidation will be complex and is likely to involve some areas of judgment, and so there is a high degree of audit risk. Through planning will be essential to ensure that audit risk is minimized. The type of audit procedures that could be performed include checking that figures taken into the consolidation have been accurately extracted from the financial statement of some components, evaluating the classification of the components of the group. For example, whether the components have been correctly identified and treated as subsidiaries, associates, or joint ventures. Reviewing the disclosures necessary in the group financial statement, such as related party transaction and minority interest. Investigating the treatment of any components which have a different financial year and from that of the rest of the group. Gathering evidence appropriate to the specific consolidation adjustment made necessary by financial reporting standard, including, for example, the calculation of goodwill and its impairment review, cancellation of intercompany balances and transaction, provision for unrealized profit as a result of intercompany transaction, fair value adjustment needed for asset and liabilities held by the component, retranslation of financial statement of components denominated in a foreign currency. Consolidation adjustments. Group auditors are required to evaluate the appropriateness, completeness, and accuracy of consolidation adjustments. This involves the identification of any fraud risk factors and indicators of possible management bias. bias. This work often has two components. There is the mechanical exercise of ensuring that routine consolidation adjustments have been made. If group auditors were satisfied with the accuracy of the consolidation pack prepared by group management, this stage involves checking that the packs have been reasonably completed and the matters identified within those packs have been included in the consolidation. Involve procedures such as tracing items through the consolidation process, checking ongoing adjustment to prior year working papers, and reconciling balances. Different accounting policies. Group auditors also need to consider whether appropriate adjustments have been made where accounting policies applied by the component auditor are not the same as those applied by the group. First matter requiring consideration is the adequacy of management group instruction or packs. Most consolidation packs require the inclusion of amounts and other information in accordance with group accounting policies, irrespective of whether they are the same policies followed locally. But group auditors need to consider whether the information is nonetheless consistent with the local financial statement. A reconciliation between the amounts reported locally and the amounts reported to the group should be provided. Group auditors also need to decide whether this reconciliation can be dealt with centrally or whether it should be considered by component auditors. In some cases, it may be possible for adjustment to be made centrally to align accounting policies, and where this is the case, the PAC must provide sufficient information for this to be done. Group body report. Component in multiple locations. Complex structures often introduce issues that may give rise to risk of material misstatement. Such issues may include whether goodwill, joint ventures, investment, or special purpose entities are accounted for appropriately, and whether adequate disclosure of such issues in the financial statements has been made. The ownership and the relationship between owners and other people or entities. This understanding assists the auditor in determining whether related party transactions have been appropriately identified and accounted for appropriately and adequately disclosed in the financial statement. Group audit report disclosures. The consolidation of financial statement requires a combined to integrate and combine all of the financial accounting functions together in order to create consolidated financial statement that shows results in standard balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow statement reporting. 50% or more ownership is another company, usually defined as a subsidiary, and give the parent company the opportunity to include the subsidiary in a consolidated financial statement. More than 20 and less than 50 is called associate company. The main one mandates that the parent company or any of the subsidiary cannot transfer cash, revenue, asset, or liabilities among companies to unfairly improve result or decrease tax owed. To create consolidated financial statement, the asset and liabilities of the subsidiary are adjusted to fair market value, and those values are used in the combined financial statement. That's all. Thank you.